I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
That's Booby.
And Jalopy and Ghosty and Chip.
This is Interpol-No, I am Threesome. This should be an interesting song. Good Lord.
I know. I'm like, oh, okay.
Who is this for? The big homie CSN?
Yep.
Didn't CSN give us the last one too?
He did. He actually, he skipped the $75 tier on Patreon, and he actually just went to straight to our PayPal.
Straight to PayPal.
Yeah, and he was like, Vin and Sori merch at gmail.com is what our PayPal is, and that's actually a couple people have done that recently. They're like, I don't want to wait till the end of the month.
Yeah, smart man for you. The white man caught you because the dark man saw you. Anyway, so this should be an interesting song. For time and topical political commentary, you can hit us up at Middle America with Vin and Sori. Just shot one about, I don't know, 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, I don't know, about the big homie Bernie. So there you go. There's multiple ways to get your song reviewed, dear listener. You can send us an email. You can put comments in the comment section. You can hit us up at Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Did you check any, but my favorite way is you join an alliance, right? $1 at the gate, you get into an alliance, and then blah, from there you get sucked into a subculture because alliances are basically based on genre.
Yeah.
Right? So this wasn't an alliance pick. This came from the $75 partner tier, which is going bye-bye.
What are you thinking about? This wasn't the oh, well, technically he went through PayPal, but it was still the $75. Yeah, go ahead.
That's coming to a close.
It is
March 1st. So there we go.
It's still going to be a variation of that is still going to be there. It's just going to not be $75 anymore.
By the way, if you guys wanted to find out about the top secret Super Saiyan Sori video that everybody's been talking about,
it's finally up.
It is finally up. Super Saiyan Sori.
Once you get on Patreon, you'll be able to see that there in the list of videos and content that you'll get.
Yeah, so that's part of some of the exclusives. What did you do that from the My Sori Life thing?
Yeah, I just stick it on My Sori Life, and then because My Sori Life was my channel, but I kind of made it all secret, and now patrons are able to get there.
Sarcast goes, wait, you are a takes her shoe off in the cinema person? Unsubscribe.
Yeah. He also said like Christians react to a Christian in theater.
Sassy jacket lady. Yeah.
Or something like that.
Anyway, so Super Saiyan Sori's up there. So look out for more of that content. Okay.
Go.
and life is wine. Do you feel the sweet breath of time? It's whispering its truth, not mine. There's no I in Threesome.
Parts of this, his voice kind of sounded like Ghost.
Ghosty.
It sounded like Ghost.
Yeah, it's got that retro sound to it on purpose, I suppose. This came out, 2007?
Oh.
Yeah, so there definitely was a retro sound to it, for sure.
I liked it.
I'm surprised
it was
you
chill.
liked it.
Well, why? Well,
because of what he's saying.
Was he really literally saying like the three is like them two and someone else?
Well, he says, we give something new a try. Alone we may fight, so let us just be three. I mean, that sounds pretty straightforward to me.
Yeah, well, I didn't make it about that.
Because I see this sometimes with couples. They'll be like, oh, maybe we need to shake something up. And they do all this weird stuff. Like they'll bring somebody else in or they'll watch porn or together or whatever. Weird. But it happens.
No, I mean...
How did you take the three part of it?
It's gonna sound really weird, but okay, so through the storms and the light, then he says, where'd the lyrics go? I hate your computer. Through the storms and the light, baby, you stood by my side, and life is wine. And to me, life is wine was... I mean, sometimes you can have wine and it's just... Some people just kind of like the taste of it and the experience of it, and then other people like... drink enough of it where it kind of makes stuff fun, and then you can have too much, and too much is like just miserable. And so I just kind of thought life is like wine. Like life has its different stages. Like sometimes it's miserable, sometimes it's good, but she stood by his side through all of it. And then it says, but there are days in this life when you see the teeth marks of time, two lovers divide. And I thought, like, I didn't know if they were like getting a divorce or like life was getting to them and it was going through like a hard rocky part in their relationship, and so it was kind of like spacing them apart. But then sound meets sound, babe, the echoes they surround, and all that we need is one thing. Now what is there to allow? Oh wow, what he's allowing is a threesome? Okay, well I didn't get that. I just thought it was like trying something. When it was trying something new in their relationship, I wasn't thinking a threesome. I was just thinking that, trying to figure out ways to work it out and kind of getting creative and stuff. And then when it says, so let us be three, it's really weird, but it's just like, there's like a nice, fun version of me, but then there's also like a mean, grouchy Sori. And so it's like, let's just accept who we are, like, and let's just that's what I made it to be. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Sure.
Do you understand?
No, I understand. I just think when you like a song that you're just
I'm gonna make it say what I want.
You're gonna find a way to make it say what you want instead of
I don't want it to be that. No, I don't like that.
What's obviously there. Give something new a try.
Yeah, I know. I see that now.
Alone we may fight.
Oh my gosh.
You're so strange sometimes in life. I do not understand you.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I see. I kind of like the sound of it, and I like the idea of, going through different seasons and times in your relationship, but no. I would never be okay with that.
I'm all for it.
Babe, yeah. Feathers bend like trees in the moonlight.
Yeah, I just think it's one of those situations where they've been in a relationship for a long time and they genuinely
That's
love
not
each
gonna
other.
fix the problem.
Well, of course not. Of course not. But, you know, people... This is one of the things about the modern age, especially the post-sexual revolution Western world, is that the concept of monogamy, oh, that's outdated, blah, 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 you know, everybody starts trying to, you know, come up with their own jazz because now they're so modern. It's like, go for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like, people, you know, go for it. And you see all the animals and there were the animals there.
Well, yeah, but
Sort of
those
just like,
animals
you know,
were consuming that other one.
Yeah.
The two of them were working
yeah,
together.
like I just think like sometimes, and the name of the record is Our Love to Admire. And it just looks to me like, you know, hey, this isn't working, and so instead of really, really like doing the internal work that's necessary to continue in a relationship that's kind of stood the test of time or whatever, maybe unearthing certain old wounds that they didn't, you know, we've seen, you know, older couples who, you know, come up with all these weird things to do because they can't just deal with the factual, you know, issues that they have in their relationship, and so they, you know, all types of craziness ensues. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes, like, especially if you're in a long relationship, it kind of becomes one of those things where you get stuck because on the one hand, it's like the thing is dead unless something drastic happens, but then on the other hand, it's like, well, I've invested X amount of time in this relationship, and for it to be over is a real tough pill to swallow. And I mean, I know that was a major thing for me, you know, in my previous relationship, where it's like I spent all this time and literal blood, sweat, and tears, you know, trying to make the thing work. And so the longer you go, the harder it becomes to, you know, let it go. You know what I mean? So
that's funny because I didn't have that feeling about.
Well,
I mean, obviously, yeah, I understand. I didn't go through like what you did.
And it was literally less than half the time that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm talking about 15 years. You guys hit what?
7.
Yeah. So, like, it's not the same.
I didn't feel like, more of my thing was just, oh my gosh, we have a kid together.
Yeah. But, you know, when you hit the 10-year mark and things like that, and then, you know, there was, like I said, literal blood, sweat, and tears. You guys are basically just pedestrian, you know, because you wouldn't, you know, communicate your issues, or when you did, you know, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
But I just think it's extremely difficult for people who, you know, the relationship is... And
that's so interesting because we've been together significantly less amount of time.
Right.
But I feel like, oh my, I put some work in on this communication here.
Right.
That's interesting.
I forced the issue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I forced the issue because my thing is I'd much rather do the work now, and then 3 or 4 years down the line we can cruise. You know, like we'll have, you know, have a pretty good understanding of where we are and what the boundaries are, and all that jazz, and you know, and to me that's the best way to do it. But if you have like these latent things beneath the relationship that never gets dealt with because you don't want to deal with it and fight about it, then you're gonna run into situations like this when you get older, when people come up with crazy solutions because they just can't deal with the thing.
We know a couple that did this. It was this, and then try this thing, and then they tried so many different things. In the end, they're not together. You know.
Oh. Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. It just never works.
No.
But, you know, again, they had like some real deep-seated beneath the surface issues. And, you know, when you try to manage relationships and sexuality like in this mechanistic fashion, oh, we're animals and this mechanistic thing, and it's devoid of emotion, it's like that stuff's, you know, somebody's gonna get significantly damaged, you know, like it's crazy, you know. But the title is kind of ironic too, like there's no I in threesome. It's kind of like, hey, I'm not doing this for myself, I'm doing this for our relationship. Dudes are like masters of that. They'll be like, hey, I'm just doing this for the relationship, you know. It's
oh my word.
It's not funny, I'm just saying, like, there's some really very intelligent guys that know how to, you know, speak about this stuff as if they're doing it for the greater good, when the reality is that, you know, And it's kind of that thing where, especially like long relationships, where it's like, especially when these guys hit their midlife crisis, it's kind of like, they're people love comfort and people love to know what to expect all the time and all that jazz. But at the same time, it also, the back end of that is things get very boring for people like that. So then what happens is like they want to stay with the person because they love the familiarity and the comfort, but on the other hand, they're bored, and so so to them, this is the best of all possible worlds. You add another person in there, and hey, right? Like, hey, everything is going great. Why are you laughing?
I'm just laughing because I had the weirdest thought yesterday when I was getting out of the shower, and your gym clothes were like thrown all over the place, and your boxers and whatnot. And I'm like, please, babe, you threw your boxers up in the air as a celebration on one of our videos, so don't act like. Anyway, and when that happened, I was like, wow. But then I'm like, those are gym clothes because you went to the gym, kicked ass at the gym, blah blah blah, and like you're so hard to predict what you're gonna do with a lot of things. And I was thinking, you can either look at that and be like really annoyed that like you're so unpredictable, I can't know what's gonna happen next, or you can look at it and be like, but it's always exciting. Like sometimes you might wake up and you're in this horrible mood that you're not even gonna barely speak at all the whole day. And then you'll disappear for hours and just take a ginormous long shower. And then there'll be other days where you're like, hey, what do you want to do today? So it does, it kind of keeps the person on their feet. And I think I'm like that too. Like there's some days where I'm like, sometimes you'll be like, you're smiling today. So,
well, there we are, dear listener.
I think that's true. Like just get somebody who has some mental health issues. I'm just kidding. It's true though, we probably both have some issues.
Yeah. Well, I think our lives are very
particularly fun.
Yeah, and it's different, because we literally do everything together. With the gym, we get the channel, we get the sauna, we get the channel, we took our walk. So I think ours are a little bit different. Like that's the other thing. It's almost impossible for us not to deal with our issues because like. What are you gonna do? It's not like I'll just wait this out until he goes to work.
Yeah, and I'll take a break.
There's none of that. Nope. There's none of that. So you got to deal with it.
Here we all again.
Here we all again.
Studio room.
Car. Like, you know what I mean? Like, forget it. But anyway, what do you give the song?
Well, I hate the topic. I think it's a horrible idea, and like. I know that you would never introduce something like that into our relationship, but the mere thought that makes me really angry. But it was I liked the sound of it.
I like the retro sound.
So I like that.
I like the retro sound.
I just think it's a terrible idea. All right, I'm gonna go with a 8.95.
I'll give it an 8.4. It's a good song. Good song for.
But it's a 0, -1,000 for the topic because I don't agree with that at all.
Anyway, in, out.
Sorry, out.
Gone.